This is CNN.
I'm Bernard Shaw.
I'm Cheryl Jones from CNN. This is The World Today.
Thanks for joining us.
All three Baltic republics have now voted to break away from the Soviet Union. Latvia took its initial step towards separation today, following the dangerous path blazed by Lithuania and Estonia. A Chinese diplomat in Washington says he's defected because he supports the pro-democracy movement in China. Well, it's not something you would think of as a quarter-century old, but the lava light turns 25 this year. Although, as CNN's Jeff Flock reports, the symbol of the 1960s psychedelia is anything but a relic from the past.
Or maybe it's setting the mood in the bedroom in the 1990s.
That's a scary thought. I'm Jeff Flock, CNN, in Chicago.
The U.S. unemployment rate has climbed to its highest level in more than a year. The Labor Department reports the jobless rate was 5.4% in April. That's a jump of 0.2 of a percentage point from the month before. The unemployment rate hasn't been that high since January of last year. If the OPEC oil cartel gets its way, gasoline prices will be going up soon. OPEC ministers have come to a new agreement designed to push prices higher. However, as CNN's Tom Mintier reports, you may not see much of a difference at the gas pump this summer. Some pretty hot gossip about rock star David Bowie from his ex-wife. The couple divorced in 1980. She reportedly received $700,000 from the star. That in exchange for not speaking publicly about him for 10 years. Well, that gag order expired last month. Today, Angela Bowie let loose on the Joan Rivers show.
So you caught him in bed with a guy?
I caught him in bed with men several times. That one of the best times I caught him in bed with Mick Jagger.
You did
I came back so excited.
Well, the former wife says she wasn't too pleased that since there was nothing she could do about it, she just made breakfast.
In Washington, I'm Bernard Shaw. Good weekend to you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Bernie. Same to you. And at the CNN Center in Atlanta, I'm Cheryl Jones. On Monday, trying to teach racial tolerance at a New York high school. We'll take a look.
I'm Bernard Shaw.
I'm Cheryl Jones. From CNN, this is The World Today. Authorities fear 200 square miles of southeastern Texas may soon become a lake bed. Cresting floodwaters from the Trinity River are coursing through Lake Livingston Dam at this hour. 7,000 people who live downstream from the dam have been warned to leave their homes before the tide swamps their communities. CNN's Tony Clark reports.
Tony Clark, CNN, Liberty, Texas.
A new high-speed video camera will allow the capture of some fast-moving scientific events with amazing clarity. CNN's Dan Ronan explains how the camera works and why it can be useful.
This firecracker is about to explode. Dan Ronan, CNN reporting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Jones at the CNN Center in Atlanta. To our viewers in the U.S. and around the world, welcome to World Day. Those stories are ahead in the next hour, but first, Reed Collins is in Washington with our top story.
A live television talk show in Paris.
Also ahead, outraged Yugoslavs take to the streets after a drunken policeman goes on a shooting spree. A first for Japan's space agency, 3 satellites are launched from a single rocket. Also, we'll take a look at a growing debate in Britain over research on human embryos, what some consider science, others say is a crime. Good morning, Patrick. You're absolutely correct. The weather is pretty nice out in California, and the weather down in Florida today, a bit on the soggy side. However, the temperatures are not going to be all that bad. They'll be a little balmy with 70s and 80s down in Florida. Southwestern California, 70s and 80s as well. Let's check the satellite closely, and we'll see what's going on with the clouds. High pressure settling into the central plains, high pressure ruling parts of the New England states, the Ohio Valley, so you're looking pretty good. A nice day coming up with much of the east, with mild weather unfolding, a little chill in the air, but who cares? The skies are going to be pretty sunny in New England. Down in Florida, still a lot of clouds. clouds around with some rain on tap continuing. We've had soggy weather for a couple of days. Southern Florida, Central Florida, you're going to be soggy again today. At least occasional showers. It won't be raining all the time. Now, here's a system, though, we're watching. Even Kentucky got into the act this morning with a little bit of fog, reducing visibilities. That fog extended up to Indiana. We had fog over in Kansas, down in Oklahoma, Louisiana, some of the Gulf states, and over in southeastern Texas. But the mid-morning hours should continue to bring improving conditions to those fog-prone areas. Later today, we'll be watching this front march east. Higher elevations of Utah, you could see as much as 8 to 12 inches. Northeastern foothills of Colorado tonight, you could also have some snow on tap. And again, colder weather moving behind that front. Highs today, well, the colder weather in the northwest, New England states too in the 30s. Highs again today in Southern California, very warm in the 80s. Now, let's take a look at some hometown cities and forecast highs. It may be spring-like in much of the east and central U.S., but winter wants to hold on in the west. Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Jones as we welcome the second full day of summer on Sunday, a crisp and mild day on tap for much of the New England area and Great Lakes thanks to a Canadian high pressure bringing drier, cooler air. Where you have 80s on Friday and on Saturday, you're going to have 70s come Sunday. Summer storms, though, will dot the landscape down in the southeast. Some of them, again, could be on the heavy side. The northwest stays unsettled. The southwest stays hot. And a warming trend underway, a few scattered storms through the plains. Those highs reflect what's going on with 80s all the way up into Montana. Over 100 degrees again for Palm Springs, Phoenix, and Yuma, Arizona, as well as Death Valley and El Paso, Texas. Muggy 90s in the southeast. Now these cities for your Sunday. Many travelers heading for the Grand Canyon fly into Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix and then head northward in a rental car. It's a 4-hour drive, and tourists frequently schedule an overnight stop about halfway there. And that's when they discover the beauty of Sedona, as CNN's Bella Shaw reports.
Bella Shaw, CNN Travel Guide.
To our viewers in the United States and around the world, welcome to World Day. I'm Cheryl Jones at the CNN Center in Atlanta. Here's Reed Collins in Washington with our top story.
Good day.
Thank you, Cheryl.
First of all, in a nutshell for us, Pat, could you just briefly describe the documentary that you've worked on and the purpose behind this effort? It's been a massive undertaking for a year now.
Yes, it has been a labor of love and one I was committed to doing largely for the purpose of profiling these women whose voices are not the ones we hear on newscasts such as this.
Pat, could you tell us a little bit about what this clip was all about? How did she become such a peacemaker, and specifically, how did her role evolve in Northern Ireland? In the pre-dawn hours in Oakland, California, an excruciating task lingers on this morning. Workers are extracting from piles of broken concrete and crushed automobiles the bodies of those who died in the collapse of the Nimitz Freeway.
This is Daywatch on CNN. With Bob Kane and Cheryl Jones from CNN Center in Atlanta.
As exchanges opened around the world today, stock prices dropped in frenzied trading. But so far, the sell-off has not developed into a full-scale panic. Standing by now in Chicago is CNN's Jeff Block with more on this very complicated subject. Jeff, is the mood there this morning just as nervous?
Well, yes, absolutely right it is.
This is the CNN Evening News, live around the world with Patrick Emery and Cheryl Jones from the CNN Center in Atlanta.
At least 10 cities in the south and southeast hit 100 degrees or more. A hot day indeed. Be careful. Stay in the cool shade. Now these cities for your Monday. Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Jones. Coming up on Prime News Weather, we'll take a look at the very latest radar showing you where those big thunderstorms are this hour. That and more after this. Well, that is a quick look at your Monday weather. I'm Cheryl Jones of the CNN Center in Atlanta. The news continues after this. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cheryl Jones.